Welcome to Breaking the Couch, a weekly conversation demystifying what happens in and behind the therapy scene to support your healing journey. We're your hosts.
I'm Dr. Dowdson, a licensed clinical professional counselor, a certified school psychologist, and a trauma specialist with Playfully Psyched.
And I'm Dr. Jo Harchi with Soft Art Psychology, a licensed clinical psychologist.
We're here aiming to provide you with mental health tools to address the cycle of generational trauma across the age span, from infancy and childhood to adulthood.
For more information, visit our Instagram page at Breaking the Couch or our website, breakingthecouch.com. While we hope you love listening to and learning from our podcast, it's not a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
All right, so it would have been nice if we hit record earlier, but as we were just talking about, so we normally try to stack our episodes, right, and have a bit of a cushion in case life gets overwhelming or things happen. The show must go on, and so we try to stack a few so that they're just on autopilot and they go out. And then as we were talking, we realized we don't have a cushion. Our cushion's gone. And in that moment, do you want to explain what happened for you, Dr. Joharchi?
Yeah, I think I just I closed my eyes and I was like, oh, I just kind of had a moment, and I don't know, it felt like a mini, I don't know, it all just felt like too much. It was like, okay, I could think of all the different things I have piling up and all the things that feel stressful. And it was just like, oh man, like that thing that we have on a flow also isn't where I want it to be. So it felt annoying. It felt sad. And I just made a noise, closed my eyes, and you were like, let's breathe. You held space for a second. We just kind of okay, let's breathe. Yeah. And then we were like, well, let's just record because we're talking about this right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those life moments. And literally an hour ago, I had a similar event happen where I'm on the phone with a customer service representative. Anyone who knows me in my personal life knows that I actually really despise talking on the phone with customer service representatives. I don't know what it is about me or my personality or the world or whatever, but 99% of the time, the conversation is horrible for me. They don't listen. They not call me names. This sounds weird, but they assume, things based on how my name is spelled. They assume gender. They assume all sorts of stuff. It's just super uncomfortable. And they're trying to be polite and following their scripts, and I just hate it. And they do the small talk filler, and they're like, oh, how's your day going? I'm like, well, if I'm on the phone with customer service, usually not going so well, right? That's not a question to ask, but I get it, right? It's these stupid pleasantries, but I don't like these things. And I was on the phone with the customer service representative, and she told me something that we have to redo something basically that I'd already done, taken off work to do. And there's no record of it. And I just started crying.
Oh my gosh.
I just started crying. And she's of course, panicked, oh my gosh, is there is there some way I can help? Is it because you have to be home at that time? She's trying to bring it. I was and I was trying to hold it back. I felt it coming, and I was trying to breathe. But then, when there's the long pause, and she's are you there? And I'm trying to hold back, from you hearing it. So I couldn't. And it was just that overwhelming moment where so many things in my life are not going, not even according to plan, but just the littlest things. I try to do the simplest thing, right? Get internet hooked up, or get, check into a cleaning service, or get my stuff moved, whatever, little things that I feel the average person maybe navigates, and it's just not a single thing is going smoothly. And so I just had that moment of overwhelm, just similar to you, and just cried, and I was no, I'm gonna be fine. It's just nothing is going smoothly, everything is a challenge, everything is a roadblock. And so just I think talking about that, one, we are human, even though we're therapists, we go through these same things. Life has so many roadblocks, And I think, for the audience, like you said, sometimes it's just like what Dr. Jaharchi did, like it's take a breath and let an audible sound give weight and acknowledgement to it. Yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking over there, Dr. Jaharchi?
I am so hearing that just was like just the last straw over there. It was just like too freaking much. And I think that what we do here right now is we're just like listening to one another. I don't hear either of us doing what you had said earlier with toxic positivity, where, you know, we can, for me at least, I can kind of put it away for this amount of time and make the listener, not listeners, but make the other person on the other end feel good, like, oh, they helped me. And I put it in my little drawer and I close the drawer and I close the room. And, so that's the toxic positivity that we're not doing by just hearing that, like, oh my gosh, that is so overwhelming and annoying. And your feelings are valid, right? So I think just that.
Yeah, I think so. Another thing that happened was not like a bad thing, but it was just funny because I knew, so I had supervision today with one of my supervisees, and if she's listening, you're so sweet. But she always checks in on me, right? And she asks like, how are you? Right? And today I was just like, you know what? Something I want you to know about me. I hate that question. Like, it's such a sweet question from you. I know it's real. I know you really want to know. But like, my response is always going to be hanging in there because sometimes, that's all I'm doing is like holding on for dear life and hanging in there. And there always isn't time to really tell someone how you're doing, And I bring that up here when we talked about toxic positivity because it is in the United States. I can only talk about the United States. In the United States, how are you is used as a pleasantry, it's just used like hello, right? So we usually say, hi, how are you? Right? And it's like, if people really tell you, the average person does not want to know, right? They don't want to know. And so, and even some of the people who do care about you, right, and claim they want to know, we have also been taught to jump to a fix it. Right? To jump to 50,000 solutions. Well, have you tried this? What about this? Oh, maybe you could do this, or our favorites. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, don't cry about that. It's okay. It'll be fine.
Well, at least this didn't happen, right? That's another favorite. Yeah. Well, at least blah, blah, blah,
it could
whatever.
be worse.
Anything. It could be worse. Exactly.
It could be worse.
Oh, gosh.
This is not this. And so it's like, none of those are helpful. Maybe they're helpful for some people, but those are never helpful for me.
Well, it's what you said. It's a quick fix. And is often a quick fix for the person offering it, not for the person who needed it. Yeah.
That's right. Trying to soothe themselves, right? Because like if they do care about you, they also are like feeling some of that angst or sadness that you're feeling and they want it to go away. Right. So they don't feel it anymore. And that's when we go to these quick fix it things. And it can just be unhelpful, disastrous in some ways, and sometimes invalidating, right? And I sometimes feel, I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel, do you think I'm just not intelligent? Because like none of the ideas you came up with are groundbreaking. So you didn't so you didn't think I cycled through all of those things before coming to this meltdown? Not to say that there's never a great idea out there, but it's also just like, yeah, been there, done that, tried that, thanks. It's like when you call IT and they say turn it off, turn it back on. Right? It's like, yes, that'll probably work this time, but don't you think I did that first? Because I don't know. Every time I've ever called IT, they say turn it off, turn it back on.
They do always say that, right? And it does work a lot. And then when it doesn't, then we call IT. Yeah.
So what do you think? Are there takeaways that we can give people for today?
I think one of the takeaways would be like checking in with that for me at least when I like started to come up on my own toxic positivity. It was brought to me by a loved one who, kind of helped me to look into myself and see what's there as far as what is it about me that's making me feel uncomfortable, that this other person is sad, nervous, feeling discomfort in some kind of way. And, just getting in touch with what's coming up there for me. And if I don't have space, this might seem mean to people, but now you'll know that if I do have space and if I do ask, then I do have space and that I'm being authentically present with you. But if I don't have space, I don't ask. And sometimes people will still tell me. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know like what that thing is. I know other therapists can relate that we'll just be in line and somebody will all of a sudden like find your energy or something and start telling you everything. And you don't even know this person. So that's a whole other story. That's a whole other set of boundaries that we could talk about. I think that is such a funny phenomenon. I really do think that's like an energetic thing. But as far as what I can control, like me reaching out to others, I do just reach out when I have an open heart, when I'm feeling relaxed, that they could literally tell me this was the worst day of their life, this, that, and the other happened, or a million little things happen is out of their hands. And I'm just able to sit there with them. And sometimes it's like, that's the best medicine is just being able to walk hand in hand with someone. Not fix it, because they're not broken, nothing to fix. Be there hand in hand.
I think that's very perceptive of you and insightful, right? To have been able to tap into when can I hold something for someone else? Like when can I be a part of this space with someone if they're going through something so hard and heavy? I think that's amazing and important because I don't think many people are probably doing that or like taking inventory, self-inventory, right? And like, can I be there for others? I love this too because it is a part of boundary setting, right?
Good point.
It is a part of acknowledging, yes, I'm able to do XYZ for someone else, and no, I don't have the capacity to do that right now. And I can still be a good friend even if I can't be there for you 100% of the time. I'm still a good person, still a good friend, still, you still matter to me type of thing. Even though sometimes I need to decompress or focus on me or turn inward, or whatever the case may be. I think that's really helpful for people to just kind of think about, right? What's coming up for yourself and making sure that you're giving yourself what you need enough so that when you want and can be there for people that you care about. Hey.
Well, I'm really happy that we could come together today to kind of be breaking the couch about what happens when I feel overwhelmed, when we feel overwhelmed. So I'm excited to see if listeners want to hear more about boundaries, like a part 2. Okay, now, here's a little bit about what happens when your cup is full and how to sort of extend an open channel between you and someone when you have more energy or when you have the capacity to sort of like provide that emotional labor, listen openly, not bring in that toxic positivity. So hopeful that if you are listening and you do want to hear more, you'll let us know.
Yes, I love that topic. So maybe we'll talk about it even if they don't say something. But with that in mind, you all can find us on Instagram at Breaking the Couch. We are there, even though we are revving back up into posting. You can visit our website, breakingthecouch.com, leave a message there, or just fill out the little survey just to tell us if there are topic ideas you want, questions you want answered, comments that you want us to share live on the air. whenever we talk about books, we have a bookshop that gives back to local bookstores. It does give us a little teeny tiny kickback if you purchase a book through there, so that we can help produce the rest of these episodes. Instagram, and then if you're watching this on a video form, you can go ahead and leave a message in the comments there too. Okay, until next time.
If you are looking for a therapist for yourself or your child, you can visit our websites, playfullypsych.com or softheartpsychology.com.
We appreciate you joining us this week and can't wait till there's another opportunity to jump on the couch with you next week.